Hello, Kaiosho here again. This is a bit of a shorter update. I just want to go through some of the things I've purchased and I'm sort of waiting on. I'm kind of itching to work on this, so I guess talking about it is the closest I can get. So I had a laser, a really powerful laser that I won in a contest recently, and I've had it for a couple months and finally decided to sell it. And so I have the money to buy some parts. So firstly are all the buttons and switches and things. I bought them all from this website groovygamegear.com. They had some of the lowest prices I could find for this stuff. There's a couple other that were just about the same price, but their website was really well done, so I thought I'd just go with them. I guess it really helps to have a nice website for those people that do this shit. So I'll show you some of the stuff I got. Here's the push buttons. I got their HAP brand. You know, the standard basically for the industry. The actual arcade games. That's basically the brand that most real arcade systems have. I got 4 red, 2 green, 2 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 for the player 1. Now, the reason I got 4 red is that I'm going to have 2 in the main controls of the 6 buttons, but the 2 of the red ones are going to be for the pinball flippers, which are actually going to be wired to probably the same 2 red buttons from the 6 buttons. I mean, you're not going to be using the side pinball buttons at the same time you're using the other buttons, so they're going to be wired to the same button. It's just easier that way. Uses less inputs. The player 1 button, start player 1. The thing I ran into is that the gamepad I was going to use for the inputs doesn't have enough buttons. I really need to have the start button. I need to have the 6 player buttons, which the like I said, the pinball buttons don't count because they're using 2 of those 6 buttons. And I also needed a coin insert button, but I needed another button that I completely forgot about, which is the return to MAME button. Return to your MAME front end button, right? So you're playing a game, you want to go back to the list of games, you hit this button, right? So I completely forgot about that, and I thought maybe I would play on free play, but not all games support free play, so I needed to get a different input method. Now I did look at getting one of those boards that I showed you before, but I'm trying to spend as little money as I can. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention before, I also got a HAP competition joystick. It's basically another standard joystick. I looked at reviews for a whole bunch of different ones, and this one was the best, and it was $8.49. I mean, come on. But anyways, I needed a controller with or something with more inputs. The cheapest of those USB boards that I showed you was about $15 shipped, I think. But I really didn't want to spend that much, even though, I probably should. But instead, what I did is I looked on eBay for a USB gamepad, just like the one I already have, but that has more buttons. And the one I settled on, well, the eBay auction says it has 12 buttons, but I think it actually has 10, and then also the D-pad. So you can see a picture of it, but it's basically like a knockoff PS1 controller, and I think it'll work just as well as anything else. And it was $4.49. I actually could have got it cheaper if I wanted to buy it from China, but that would have taken longer for it to get here. So I just bought one from inside the country, so it was $4.49. It's like a cheap Chinese controller, it's nothing special, but as long as the buttons work, as long as the inputs work, it doesn't matter. So that's what I'm going to use to solder to for all the buttons. and things. And then let's see, what else did I get? Oh, I bought some tea molding. That is the oops, I dropped my mouse. That is the rubber that goes along the edges of an arcade cabinet. You know how it's got that, like on the any part of the wood, there's it's like a rubber soft rounded edge. That's something that really makes an arcade cabinet seem more like a real one, is having that. If you don't have it, you just kind of have the smooth wood, which is okay, but it's so much better to have the T molding. So I bought some of that. That was pretty cheap. Going back to the buttons again, the coin insert button that I bought was actually a little bit more expensive than the joystick, actually. I wanted something that reminded me of an actual arcade coin drop. What do you call those? Coin reject buttons. You know, where you put your quarter in, and it's a lit up red button, and if the quarter doesn't go in right, you push it and it releases. I wanted something like that. I even looked at buying an actual real coin release thing from eBay, but it was so expensive. But this thing I got from Groovy Game Gear is made to look just like those, but it's an actual normal button, and it lights up. So it's the best solution I could have found. So I'm really happy I found that. That's another reason I went with this website. They had that thing. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to getting all this stuff and working on it. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be buying my wood, maybe some small tools that I don't already have. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to update you on. The software end, I have settled on the front end I'm going to use, which is Mala. I don't know what that stands for, but it's a front end called Mala, and it's a free one. It's there are some you actually have to pay for, not all of them, just a few, but this one is very modifiable, and it's also not quite as flashy or fancy. The one I was gonna do is Hyperspin, and a lot of people use that these days because it just looks fantastic. It's so good looking and so professional looking. So, you know, like something you'd actually find in an arcade that was made by one of the big manufacturers or something. That's the kind of menu it has. It's just so good. But it's a little too flashy. It's a little too it's hard to get through the games, like to scroll through the games. The way it scrolls through the games is sort of like this wheel on the side, and it rotates and it goes through the games. But to get through a huge list like I'm gonna have for all these different systems, that's just not gonna work. It's gonna take too long because it has to like load each individual image for. That's one cool thing it does, is it has the actual logo from each game, and you have to load all of them to scroll through the list, and it's a little too flashy. I want something more straightforward. I want to be able to see the list. I want to be able to see a big list that takes up most of the screen, and I can scroll through it easily, quickly. So while that is nice, I don't really want to go with that. So Mala is so customizable, the one I'm going to go with. There's so many different layouts people have made, and it looks like it's pretty easy to make your own, which I'm probably going to do. I haven't really decided on like what kind of theme I want to go with, but it's really cool. So many people are starting to latch on to Mala because you can basically customize it in so many different ways. So I haven't entirely gotten all that stuff set up yet. I still got some stuff to do, but when I do, maybe I'll show you it. But until then, yeah. So yeah, that's it for now. I just wanted to do a little update. I'm just itching to work on this thing, and I have to wait for this stuff, and I thought maybe talking about it would help, but Now it's just made me want to do it even more, so I'm going crazy. Anyways, talk to you next time I have a significant update, probably sometime next week when I get my stuff. Maybe I'll show you some pictures or video of all the stuff I've ordered and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, until next time.